Hello, hi, my name is Lee Jackson and I'm here on Facebook Live. So whether you're watching live now, fantastic, send me your questions. You can comment in the little box on that side, I think. You can comment on the box, send us some questions about exams and revision, particularly this crucial time. It's now the, is it 6th, what day is it? May? Yes, my birthday soon. It's now the 5th of May and exams are starting very, very soon. So most schools tell me that exams are starting now at about the 15th of May. So we've got about 10 days left before exams start. And then they'll go on for till roughly the end of June. So something like the 25th of June, something like that, depending on which exam board they're with. So time is short now. And so I'm here ready very much to answer your questions. I can say a few things, and I've also got some questions here which have been sent in to us, which is fantastic. So I'll answer those. Yeah, so first of all, let me explain who I am. My name is Lee Jackson, and I'm a very experienced school speaker. So I spend about half of my time speaking in schools and colleges, and I'm a motivational speaker and speak on study skills. And Collins last year asked me to be part of this book. So there's several of us that have written in this book, and I've written a big chunk of this book, which is all about mindset and all about getting ready for exams. So part of the, you'll notice this as lots of the books are similar to this, but this is the study skills version. So what do you need practically study skills? It's not a curriculum-based one, it's a study skills. So it's about mindset and the practical study skills that you need. And so I'm part of that, which is great, and I'm really pleased I was asked to be part of that book. Do a lot of that. In fact, I was in school just 2 days ago delivering these things to sixth formers who are about to take their A-levels, and they're all a little bit stressed out, and they asked me to come in and talk to them about getting the best out of the last sort of few weeks. It's great as people are joining us. Hello, everybody's joining us. Alexandra and Let's Revision's here. That's great. But do let us know. Do send a comment if you're on board. Also, Collins have really helpfully given you a free booklet. So it's a nice little booklet that I wrote, which is the Parents Guide. So for parents and carers, Guide to Exams and Success. So it's a little bit of information that I wrote as a parent. So I got twins, and they are just in sixth form now, and I wrote this while they were taking their GCSEs specifically. So if this is free, and you can get it, I think, from Waterstones and WH Smith's and probably a couple of other retailers. You can actually grab it next to the college. You see all the Collins and exam stuff. You should see this nearby, and you can just grab it, and it's free. And you can also download it, and I think the people from Collins will probably put a link underneath here with a free link, and you can actually get it right now. So hi Zarina, nice to hear, and Rebecca, everybody else coming on board. Fantastic. So I'll go into the questions in just a moment. I just maybe want to tell you something about me working in schools. When I go into schools, I'm usually asked by teachers, a head of year or a head of key stage or a deputy head or somebody to come in, and often the students that I speak to are in two camps. They say, can you talk to the young people who are basically, they would use the expression, they're not doing anything. It doesn't look like they're doing anything at all. Maybe they're kind of like a rabbit in the headlights, and maybe they just don't think they can do anything. So they're doing no work at all. And the other group is usually the group that's kind of stressed out, and they're actually maybe overworking. So there's that group that's not doing much, and this group that's overworking. So obviously there's young people in the middle that are doing a bit of work and not too stressed out. But on the whole, those are the two groups that I speak to on a very regular basis. And so to stressed out young people, I would certainly say that it's only a season. So as parents, tell them that it's only a season. It won't last forever. It's just that you have to get into it. You have to sort of get into the season, and it promises. Just tell them that it doesn't last forever. You don't have to work at this pace. It's just about putting the work in now for the next 10 days, for the next couple of months, and that'll how it work there. And there's a link there now to the Parents Guide, so you can get that absolutely for free, which will help you. So that's the first thing, is that it won't last forever. Secondly, is tell them that stress is good. I talk in schools about how stress is a good thing, because stress gets us out of situations. It gets us out of difficult things. It helps us to run away. It helps us to play well in sport. So it's quite a good thing, but only in short doses. Stress isn't very good when it's really big and over a long period of time. I've experienced that myself. I've seen that with my daughters at home. It's not good. So what you have to do is encourage them to do their work, of course, but also encourage them to rest and recuperate. And that comes on to the question that I had, came in earlier. So let me just get this. Sorry, very high-tech piece of paper. Question was from Mansha. My daughter is in year 10 and has had end of exams quite recently. What we observed is that she studies and revises on her computer, but also gets distracted by other things on the internet. Whenever I pointed this out to her, she became cross, and she said she was just taking a break. Is there anything that you can suggest that can solve this problem? We have tried explaining to her that to keep some time aside after studies on a regular interval, but it does not seem to work. And that's from a mum that's concerned about her daughter in year 10. So that's a great question. Thank you for asking that. Great. You can ask as many questions as you want while I'm here. Some revision is done on computers. That's the fact. That's the reality of where we're at right now. And people will do all sorts of things. You might have a Moodle or a way of them logging into the school stuff to get exam papers and questions and notes from their teacher. So some stuff will be on a laptop. The problem with being on the internet, of course, is it's the big wild World Wide Web, and it's full of things, and it's got YouTube on it, and it's got other things on it, and you can easily get distracted by cats playing pianos on YouTube. I think the key thing is there a way of them doing online and offline revision, depending on how the school does it. My experience of my daughters have done a lot of stuff offline. So they will have their computers around, but then they put it away, and then they're doing cards, and they're doing it from the textbook, and they're making revision cards and all that kind of thing. So you've got like little cards and stuff where you can actually write stuff down or post-it notes or something. So getting them to work analog is so important, because there's something about writing something down that goes into your brain. When you're looking at a screen, and even if you're just reading, because reading isn't revision, that's one of the problems that I talk with young people a lot. Reading is just a very small part of revision. What you have to do is read something, whether it's on the computer or not, and then write it out in your own words, because when you write something, your brain remembers it because it's in your handwriting and it's gone through the process of writing, which is why using little cards and writing stuff helps a lot. So encourage them to do offline revision. So there might be one session that's online, and there might be in the next session would be an offline revision. That's an important way of doing it. But also just building times around their revision plan where you can watch TV and you can go on YouTube and you can be on Facebook or Instagram or whatever else. The problem is that, most young people are pretty, they're kind of, they're on their phones a lot. And when they're on their phones, it's, you're not sure whether or not it is, you're not actually sure whether or not it is revising or whether there is on Snapchat. It's very difficult. So it's best not to police it too much. I don't think that helps, but just encourage them. And if you think that their concentration is going, then get them to do short little bits. That's really important. All right, short little bits. Great. So we've got another question coming in from Alexandra. Hi, Alexandra. Thanks for logging in. Nice to see you. Hi, Lee. My teenage relative is currently taking her GCSEs and has lots of anxiety over her French speaking exam. In the mock exam, she was so nervous that she struggled to actually speak. What kind of coping mechanisms would you recommend for exams that require speaking, i.e. languages and drama? Okay, so let me talk about stress a little bit, because whether it's a speaking exam or whether it's the real exam, many years ago I was coaching somebody. I don't coach young people, but this desperate parent rang me up and I coached this young person who was so nervous about their exams that every time they would be driven to school, they would be being sick out the window, and they would be physically sick, and they were full of anxiety. And actually what I understood is when I coached them about that, is understanding about getting them into a better routine, because the routine is that they're thinking about it all the time. So it's when they go to bed, they kind of might be dreaming about it. It's the first thing they think about in the morning. It's understanding getting into a better routine. So the routine that we have is to try and get out of our heads. And that routine is work and rest and recreation, right? And on the news this morning, there was a school in somewhere down south that was that they encouraged hymn singing because they it was good for the pupils to actually sing hymns, because singing is something that encompasses what you do. People call it mindfulness and all sorts of things these days, but it's something that takes your brain away from what you do. And maybe your relative there, Alexandra, is maybe just thinking about it too much. There has to be a time of doing the work and a time of doing something else. And then not just going and stop revising and stay on the computer, like we've mentioned previously, but actually, can you build in cinema trips? Can you build in going to bowling? Can you go and see their friends, a trampoline park, or something that will completely get them out of where they are and they get their brain full of some stuff? All right, great question. I hope that helps. And you can come back, and I'm sure Collins have got some other things that can help you with there. So fantastic. Got loads of questions coming in. This is brilliant. Michelle asks, in which way could the GCSE study skills set be used by foreign teachers? How could it help to improve national curriculum? Well, Collins have lots and lots of study guides there. So if you look into those, I don't know the exact details of those, Michelle. I'm not an expert on every piece of curriculum. So if you have a look at the range, there's some things that definitely would transfer, and certainly contact Collins directly, and they'll be able to advise you on that. But, as far as this book's concerned, this is about getting your head straight, and it's all that kind of stuff. So I think that would really help, no matter what exam you're taking, whether it's GCSE, A-levels, international GCSEs, foreign exams, whatever. It's all about mindset and getting your head in the right place. So that certainly will help. And the other stuff, you can ask them a little bit more about that. Oh, thanks, Alexandra. That's nice of you to say. Always happy to help. Okay, so next question from an English teacher. How do I engage with reluctant learners? Do you have any revision strategies useful in motivating reluctant boys? Yeah, I do quite a lot of work with sort of reluctant lads. They don't really want to study, and there's been a lot of studies done, particularly about white working class lads as well, who have been kind of an unreached group over the last few weeks. And I often get to work with groups of lads who are pretty disengaged. So thank you. First of all, thanks for being a teacher. I'm sure you do really well at your job, and it's very underrated. So thank you, English teacher, for sending me that anonymously. I would say one of the big things is getting them to understand why they're actually doing it. Getting them to understand, doing some stuff that will help their brain to think, why am I doing this? Because most of them might think it's useless. They might think it's pointless. Why am I taking an exam? I don't want to go to university, maybe. Maybe that's what they're thinking. You say, yes, but you need maths. In my business, when I'm running my business, I've got to do accounts and all that stuff. I need some maths. So maths is a key skill. I write all the time. As an English teacher, you will write persuasive letters and that kind of thing. So I do that all the time in what I'm doing. So actually showing them that their exams has practical reasons. So I often do a session where I say, why are we doing exams? Okay, why are we doing them? Where does it take you? And actually passing exams simply gets you more choices. So that is a long session that we could do about reluctant lads. But getting them to ask the question why, and then encourage them a couple of other things as well. One is encourage them that they can stand up to revise. If the weather's getting better now, take them outside to revise. I think that's really important as well, because it's lads stuck in classrooms in rows at desks sometimes doesn't help. Get them outside, get them thinking, get some post-it notes, get them walking around the classroom, get them to do that at home. That can make a big difference. So I hope that helps. That is a whole hour session on itself, so thank you for asking. A couple more questions. We're going to almost run out of time, but I think we can maybe go for another couple of minutes. So a question here from another Facebook user, from Layla. My son is having his GCSEs next year. What is the best way to get them to prepare and motivated beforehand? Yeah, a lot of the things I've just said. Encourage them that it's for a season. It doesn't last forever. School isn't 365 days a year. It isn't 24 hours a day. Just tell them that one of the best ways to do it for when I'm working with year 10s, the best advice I can give is from year 10, your school doesn't start at 8:45 and finish at 3 p.m. Just get them used to starting at 8:45 or whatever, but get them to extend the day. So in year 10, you work from 8:45, you have your lunch, maybe a quick snack when you get home, but extend the day so your school day becomes till 5:30 till your tea's ready or whatever. Okay, So in fact, when you just get them used to having a bit of a longer day, it means that they'll start doing the revision, they'll recap on the day, and it just really helps them in that way. So that's one of the things I do. And the tip, I should have finished by now, but I'm going to keep going for a minute or so because there's some good questions coming in. The thing is basically, is how do you, the tip is to get them to revise as early as possible. So in year 10, get them to revise at the end of every week. Revise what did you do that week, and start to write those little cards down so that if you revise as early as possible, you get the best results. So revision isn't cramming in the last minute. Revision is thinking as it being part of your work. So as you learn something new, you look at it on a day, you write a card, end of a week, end of a half term, you recap what you've learned, and that then goes into your brain and helps you, because it's about retention in your brain. And so find the best way that works for them, and I'm sure they'll do really, really well. So some great questions there. I think that's just about everything. Yeah, just about everything there. So we've done 16 minutes, answered loads of questions. If you would like Collins to do another one of these, then just put a comment beside, which way is it? That way, put a comment and let them know, and put some specific questions, because I've really enjoyed doing this. I'm sorry it's short, but I could stay here all day, I guess. So I hope that really helps. So whether you're watching live, thank you so much for your comments. Thank you so much for input. If you're watching when it's recorded, thank you. Please do feel free to share it. There's a share button, and put it onto your Facebook profile and share it. So my name's Lee Jackson. My website is leejackson.biz if I can help you in any way. And thank you from Collins4Parents and from my publisher, Collins. Thank you so much, and have a great day. And I wish you and your children and your family members who are revising every success. All the best. Cheers.